with Years of Years, and it's This Day in Disney, May 15th, and we have a special guest today, Brad with Years of Years. And he's going to start off, and well, we're going to start off by talking about someone who was born in 1856, Lyman L. Frank Baum. So he is the wonderful, imaginative author of all of the Wizard of Oz books. There's 14 of them, right?
14.
Yes. So
that he wrote, and there were many penned by, admiring authors with permission of the Baum estate, but 14 that he wrote that are pretty core.
Awesome. So why don't you have a great love for Frank Baum?
for real,
Yes.
L. Frank Baum, paved the way for, true appreciation for reading for me. When I was a child, I loved to have people read mythology to me and fantasy to me, but, there was a time whenever I really wanted to read Alice in Wonderland and Lewis Carroll. And that really, I remember taking the time to read that book, and at one point, in chapter 4, chapter 5, it just clicked. But my real love of reading comes from L. Frank Baum. Whenever I was in junior high, we got a new librarian, and she put all 14 Oz books out. And I didn't even know that there was 14 books at that time, and I loved them. I started reading them, but other kids were checking them out too, so I actually went and bought all 14 of them paperback at the time. But love Frank Baum. We own now first edition recreations of original hardbound Oz books, all 14 of them recreations of the original Oz books. And I just, love Glenda, love Ozma, so much so that, I'm not even a really big fan of Wicked and don't consider it canon, because Glenda, to me, is just the purest, most wonderful, kind fairy queen, and really, just a blessed, untouchable entity in the fairy kingdom. So love Oz, love Frank Baum. Thank you for having me.
Well, I was just going to tie in how does this connect to Disney? I think you know some of maybe the movies. Of course you know the 2013 Oz the Great and Powerful movie. Maybe
yes.
You know that one. That was a fun movie.
Yes, I was so excited whenever Disney picked it up. They did such a good job. Yeah. I think they talked about more. I hope there's more.
Yeah, you enjoyed that movie, and you enjoyed
love it.
that iteration.
Great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even care about any liberties or story, narrative. It was truly Oz. The characters were way Oz.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so, just a little back history. 18 years after Baum died, Walt wanted to produce an animated film based on his books, the Oz books, the original few, the first couple of books. Wow. And he went to the family, or actually Roy did. Roy, Walt's brother, dealt with, the finances, buying stuff, making things happen with money. And so he went to the family and the estate, and the rights to do a film had already been sold to Samuel Goldwyn. He resold it to Louis B. Mayer, so Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and of course they combined and produced the Oz that we know, the original film, the original musical.
Which, do you mention was a big part of the great movie ride?
Yes, that was such a cool part of the movie ride. I really love that part of the movie, the great movie ride. So had a big part in Hollywood Studios. So there's the first connection really to Walt Disney. Well, besides them trying to buy the rights to do an animated film, and then about, I think it was 12 years after that, or later, when the rest of the books were available, Walt Disney Production Company bought or acquired them and used it for, they used them for the Disneyland TV show at first, and then they actually produced something called Rainbow Road to Oz. This was not finished, so yeah, this is, they have it, they could finish it, right?
Unbelievable.
So,
I mean, I hope there's plans. I mean, seriously.
yeah, that would be fun.
Such a beautiful fairy realm.
Yeah, I mean, think about how we talked about Destino and how, you know, years and years later, Roy E. Disney Walt's nephew made sure that Destino with Salvador Dali was produced. So they can definitely take things and still produce them, possibly. I don't know how much was done though, so it'd be cool to see it. And then Return to Oz in 1985. You love that. Yeah.
So much. My cousin actually went into Chicago and tried out for Dorothy, so it really had our family. Yeah,
oh.
Had our family's attention.
Yeah, Erica's actually in one of our.
And in a forthcoming.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she's in 2 videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they came down to visit.
Yeah.
Back in, was it February?
Feels like just yesterday.
Yeah. So glad we got to enjoy Disney with them. So yes, she auditioned in Chicago. That was the cool thing about us living in Illinois, and even our daughter living in Illinois. You can go audition for stuff.
You know, and Return to Oz is true Oz. It is true Oz as well.
Yes.
The Wheelers, everything, the Pale Bucket Lunch Tree, TikTok, all of it. All of it. Belinda, the chicken, all of those are accurate to Baum's books. So wonderful. So when Disney has touched Oz, they've been really good about it. They've done a great job. So keep it up. Bring more.
Yeah.
Oz.
14 books. Plenty of material. Lots of fun.
Totally. Well, thank you for having me.
That was fun.
Really, check out Oz, and on to your next event for this day in Disney. Bye.
That was fun. It was cool to have Brad talk about his love of all those Oz books. So next up on This Day in Disney, in 1928, Plain Crazy was, or actually premiered a sneak preview at a theater on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, California. So this was actually Walt Disney's first to have Mickey as a silent cartoon. This was actually the first cartoon. The only problem, well, it was directed by Walt and by Ub Iwerks together, and the only problem is that they couldn't find a distributor for it. And there's a whole long story about that, which you can look up, about all his difficulties with distributors and the things that happened that were very difficult, and why he wanted to retain and have his own production company at some point. So anyway, Plain Crazy didn't come out first, actually, even though we had the sneak preview on May 15th back in 1928. What actually did come out first was Steamboat Willie, and that's accredited as the first Mickey Mouse cartoon that is not a silent film. It's actually a sound, and of course you know that because of the awesome song. I can't whistle, but all my family can whistle those songs, so I hear that throughout my life all the time. Anyway, so that was released and it was a huge success. So Walt had more support, and they went ahead and produced Plain Crazy on March 17th, 1929. So it was actually produced and out there, but at this time it had sound to it. So instead of being a silent cartoon, it had full sound cartoon. So I went and watched this short. It was a lot of fun. It's definitely Mickey trying to impersonate Charles Lindbergh, who at the time had flew his plane over the Atlantic across it, which, goodness, I mean, at the beginning of flight, I am sure that would have been kind of scary to fly a plane all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. And everyone was impressed with him, and so was Mickey, and he even tries to like do his hair to look like him. It's quite cool. He puts together a plane himself and teaches himself to fly. It's really cute, kind of intense. It doesn't work out so well. There's a lot of mishaps, and it's just crazy. Crazy is a good word to describe this cartoon. A lot of crazy things happen. Minnie is in the cartoon as well. You know, a couple days ago we talked about the male pilot, and in that there's like a little horseshoe with Minnie's picture in it when he's flying the plane, and which she gave to him in this one, this original cartoon, she actually gives him a big horseshoe before he goes off on his flight. So that's a little token thing between Minnie and Mickey, and I'm sure you'll see quite a bit of that in the future between them, and maybe even in the parks. Some little thing to look for, a little Easter egg. This was the first time that you get to see Clarabelle the cow. I mean, this is the first Mickey cartoon, and she was in it. I mean, technically Steamboat Willie's the first cartoon, but yeah, she's there. So Clarabelle the cow is a big part of Disney history, and so when she shows up at Christmas and in the parade and is, you know, making her cookies and singing, it's so adorable, but really an important part of Disney history. So I love that she's there. So I found this cartoon really interesting. You should go check it out. It was a lot of fun, and it was, like I said, crazy. So you'll see what I mean if you watch it. All right, next up on this day in 1995, the California Grill opens on the 5th floor, which is the top floor of the Contemporary Resort. So originally, maybe some of you guys got to experience this before it was California Grill. It was called the Top of the World Restaurant, and of course it was in the same spot. And there was actually the Top of the World, or Broadway at the Top show that they had up there as well. So when they refurbished it, they took all that out and gave it a whole new look, and now it has, which it still has today, this the whole space was opened up for the California Grill, and now you can enjoy this expansive onstage kitchen, sushi, you can enjoy all the new lighting, and of course the main focus is that you can view the spectacular fireworks extravaganza from Magic Kingdom every night. So that is the big show. If you've been there, I'd love to hear about it from you, and I'm sure you had a great time. But anyway, thank you for joining us today on This Day in Disney. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm glad Brad could join us. That was really fun. Anyway, have a great day. We'll see you next time.